Hey guys, in this video I'll be covering the top 4 at the 2023 Prague Pro. Rubiel Mosquera, or more famously known as Neckzilla, has just made his pro debut after winning his pro card just yesterday, I think, and it is shocking to see how good he looks here. He has so much mass and size with some of the largest legs I've ever seen, maybe even the best legs, of the time right now in bodybuilding, and it's insane to see how much freak factor he has. Anyways, the top 4 consists of Rubiel, Samson, Krizo, and Nathan, who all look spectacular at the show. Now, before the video does start, if you could like and subscribe, it would be much appreciated as it helps grow the channel. With that all being said, let's get into this video. Alright, starting off this video, here's the front double, and wow guys, Samson immediately stands out to me. It looks like he is in great condition, and his structure is just so dominant with that great X frame. Rubiel looks to be pretty good here too, having the largest legs out of anyone here. However, he is the most blocky out of all 4 guys in the pose. Maybe fighting it out in blockiness, with Krizo, and his arms, they do look rather small in comparison to his quads, which kind of is a downfall of his. Speaking of arms though, Krizo does have the best arms here, as they look to be twice as large as Rubiel's and Nathan's, and he definitely does have more separation than Samson does. His waist is rather wide, as I just mentioned, however, his taller structure does compensate a bit for it. Now, Nathan looks pretty good here, however, his arms may be the worst in terms of separation, plus he did have that bicep tear a little while ago, and his symmetry and size is also a little bit off in the arm department, and that elongated midsection has never really looked too aesthetic to me. I'd probably have to give Samson and Krizo the 1 and 2 here, battling it out for first and second, with Rubiel in third and Nathan in fourth. Here's the front lat spread, and this shot is a much better one for Nathan. He is a wide guy, and now his midsection doesn't look all that long, and his arms look really separated and very impressive. Samson looks the most complete out of anyone here though, showing that insane midsection with tremendous details, great quads, huge lats, and overall a good level of polish. Krizo doesn't look all too bad, however he does need to work on his lats a bit and really flex that chest in order to stand out more. He just lacks a little bit of wow factor in the pose, unlike, Rubiel, who presents that in spades. He has the best lats here, better than Samson even. However, he does need to fix his posing execution. If he were to place his hands a bit higher, the pose would appear more filled out and aesthetic overall, which would give him a much better chance up there. Where it stands though, I'd have to give this one to Samson, with Rubiel and Nathan battling it for second. I honestly think that Nathan would probably take the second place though, and Krizo would place fourth. If Rubiel was a bit more peeled though, he would definitely be fighting Samson in this pose. The side chest pose is an impressive shot for all of these guys, however the 2 that really pop would be Samson and Rubiel. Samson has a better upper body than Rubiel, however his side leg gets, almost dwarfed, which is insane to say, by Rubiel's massive leg. Conditioning and separation is rather similar between the 2, however Rubiel does show more detail in the side quad, while Samson does show a deeper quad ham tie-in. I will say that Samson does present a much more aesthetic physique here, while Rubiel looks to be sheer mass and freakiness. Guys, you got to let me know down below, which physique would you have winning this one? I would have to say that, Samson would definitely take this one personally, however, it is extremely close. Now, between Nathan and Krizo, I'd have to say that Krizo does take this one. He has a much more pleasing upper body, better leg separation, and, overall a better structure. Nathan doesn't show as much separation in the chest or arm, and I personally don't like his overall look in this pose. Here's the rear double, and this pose has a rather clear-cut decision. I'd say that Samson easily wins this one by virtue of completeness, as he has the best hamstrings and overall lower body. And, before you guys say anything, I know he does have, he doesn't have striated glutes. However, it's not like anyone else here is, Ronnie Coleman in that aspect. Moreover, Samson has the best, most overall developed back in this shot and great arms. Rubiel does come close to Samson in the back itself, but falls behind in overall conditioning. Krizo is a similar story, having a decent back with crazy conditioning, but he does lack in glute size and overall lower back development. Nathan has a great back and solid leg conditioning, however his shoulders really do dominate the pose. I mean, look how big they look compared to his back, and this makes his back look to be kind of a weak point and one of the weakest out of all 4. So I'd have to give this one to Samson, with Rubiel very close behind, with, Nathan and Krizo battling this one out for third place. But if I had to choose, I would probably give Krizo this one, but just barely. The rear lat spread is a much better pose for Nathan here, who now appears to have, one of the widest backs out of anyone up on that stage. His lats flare out like crazy, but his legs do fall behind in overall quad sweep and, wow factor as well. Now, Samson's back looks really good here. However, it doesn't show nearly as much detail as Nathan's. He does have great hamstrings and calves though, but this pose isn't as clear cut as the last one. Now, lighting does play a factor, guys. Remember that lighting can wash out details on some of the darker competitors. Now, Krizo and Rubiel do have decent backs here, with both showing similar levels of development and size. However, Rubiel absolutely dominates in the lower body, which shouldn't be a surprise by now. I don't know, guys. This one is a really hard one, though, to, judge. Nathan does, have a really dry back, but Samson destroys him in the legs. Now, personally, I'd have to give this pose to Samson, I think, as it's not like he loses tremendously in the back, with Nathan placing in second place. Rubiel would take a very, very close, third place, with a solid argument for him beating Nathan, which would leave Krizo in fourth place, which is a rather solid, place for Krizo to place. Unfortunately, we do not have a side tricep pose, so here's the ab and thigh. Immediately, I can see that this one has got to be between Samson and Rubiel, who have the best balance of developed tight midsections with outstanding quads. I can also tell you that Krizo would take an easy fourth place spot due to that wide midsection, which really sticks out amongst these other guys who have perfectly developed abs or hide their wider midsections with a, great set of lats. So, between Samson and Rubiel, let's look at Samson first, who definitely does have an amazing level of polish and completeness. He has a great structure, good abs, and great quads. Now, that being said, Rubiel has better abs, in my opinion, without that, rather unaesthetic split in the middle. He does have a good structure too, not as good as Samson's, but he has those insane quads. I actually think that Rubiel would take this one, which is insane to say as he just got his pro card, because he has so much wow factor and still keeps his aesthetic lines, while Samson would take a solid second place. Nathan looks great too, however, he doesn't look nearly as good as Samson or Rubiel, and that is definitely because he doesn't have as much wow factor overall. Here's the last pose, the most muscular, and look at these guys. They all look really great. I've said this before though, but I do think that Krizo has one of the best most musculars of all time. Insane conditioning, great arms, traps, and quads, and his wider waist is concealed perfectly here. He easily takes this one in my book, with Samson taking second place due to his size and, shapeliness, things of that nature, which is definitely overwhelming compared to Nathan and Rubiel, who would be battling this one out for third and fourth. Alright guys, so that about does it for this review of the 2023 Prague Pro Top 4. I think that Samson will win this one due to his overall shapeliness and completeness, with Krizo or Rubiel most likely coming in second. Remember guys, lighting, photo quality, and angles all play a crucial role in determining condition and size, so these guys may look completely different in other pictures or really even in person. I am judging this purely off of the available footage and photos, which can change the outcome of a comparison. Anyways guys, I hope you all enjoyed this one, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.